Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 2 of The Organized. I am your host, PeaceLove Music, and we have a great set of people on to talk about some really cool stuff today. We got Jack Binswitch from the ROO community, and we got Michael, aka Blockface, aka Attract Funding, and Stuart, aka Sir Latimer, here from the Syndicate and from the Welsh community. Stu's we got a lot of stuff to talk about today for sure. These guys were all down in Nashville or had some stuff going on with Nashville and some stuff to talk about with some projects being built and stuff like that. And Stu's got a friend with him that's giving us a peace sign. What's up, friend?
That's bit by bit.
Bit by bit.
Oh, bit by bit. What's up, buddy? Jack, how are you, man?
Man, this is cool. This is a nice follow up to Nashville. You don't get to meet everybody at a place like that because there's so much going on. But I met Stuart bit by bit, and that's some cool dudes, man. Like for real. But yeah, having a great day. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing well. I closed a real estate transaction yesterday. I got a rental under agreement, so I don't have to show that shitty apartment anymore. So I'm doing pretty good today. I got some really great guys in the room with me right now. So really having a great day. Stu, I know you're doing good because you're sitting in a bar, so you're doing all right. Michael, how are you, man?
Right side of the bar is the right side of the ground.
There it is.
Excellent. So we got a lot to talk about. I'd really actually love to have all of you guys just give me a little bit of a rundown of what you experienced in Nashville, what the atmosphere was like, and what your favorite part about it was.
Cool. Stuart, you want to go?
Yeah, listen, Nashville, what was it like? Probably one of the most, in itself, Nashville itself is probably one of the most energetic towns, cities that I've ever been to, with the most varied people in one place. So that was quite interesting. Then to add on, a mix of cocktail with the Bitcoin on top of that there, yeah, that was pretty dope. Where did we go from there? What is my favorite part? Yeah, the event was cool. Definitely was cool to see all these companies popping up, supporting Bitcoin, all these startups, minings, many different projects. But the real part for me was, also, and I can speak for bit by bit with this as well, was actually meeting the people. Getting to meet the people who are behind the projects. Really getting to speak to these guys. That was the fun part. But actually getting to socialize. And, with the business, we talked about business, of course, but, getting to really know the people who you're really dealing with, that's what really creates the foundation in business. And for me, as I said, I got to meet Jack Binswitch, I got to meet Rosa, I got to meet Rafa, I got to meet, the list goes on and on and on. Would I like to meet more people? There was a list as long as my arm, people I would like to meet up with. And, obviously, just time permitting, it wasn't possible. But the ones who I did get to meet up with, this was quality time, and it was rather than quantity. It was really, really good quality time. We had amazing, spaces put on for us. First of all, by Velar, we had the cigar night, and that was just a real bonding place, and we just had good fun. And I think in that there, all I heard was from different guys within the space, or in that venue. I really want to buy into more of this project because now this really gives me even more confidence. And that once you hear that, you're going, okay, that's a success. Going on from there, we had Velar. I have to yet again, one of my favorite projects within the Stacks community is Leather Wallets. These guys, from Trust Machines, the support they give. And they put on an amazing event for us. This is where we actually got to first meet Jack. Actually on the Leather Lounge, where we had Rosa, we had Brett from Trigamma, we had actually Bowhunter on there as well. Many different guys, real strong powerhouse guys within the Stacks community. and all these different events. So yeah, that was the fun part for me. That was the just getting to meet, really creating, solidifying the foundations that were put in place. So I mean, also I got to change my wardrobe. I've had, as you can see here, I'm carrying one of the Velar t-shirts here wearing with Pride Man. So I've got the only thing I was just a bit disappointed, they didn't give out as many socks and underwear as I thought they should have. But otherwise for that, I was absolutely flying. But yeah, that was for me, guys. That was the highlights, and I look forward to the next one.
Awesome. And I know I unfortunately I didn't get to go down. I had other obligations, and I had a really great time with my family up in New Hampshire. But I am sorry I missed out, because I absolutely could have made it if I didn't have other plans, and I feel like I missed out. I feel like it really was a place to be, and there was a great opportunity to get to meet some of the awesome people in the community in person. And I'm really glad that there was a lot of that kind of connection made, though, because it speaks to just how much energy and atmosphere and building and stuff going on in the space. It's very, very busy right now, even while the prices aren't doing a whole lot.
No, you said a mouthful right there. When you're in the trenches like this and you see everything being built, you don't even look at the price chart. Like, I haven't even looked at Bitcoin today, stacks today. I'm super bullish, and it's a fair point. It allows you to see that you're actually where you're supposed to be. And to Stuart's point, he's 100% right. Like, I can't add anything to that. That was by far the best part of Nashville, and proof positive that these dudes are all Chads. And that's just not my opinion. If you'll notice, I can tell you for a fact, I did not see one Chad that I associate with in the Stacks ecosystem dancing with other dudes at an after party, just like you see in every convention. Did not see that once. So I just want to go on the record. It was a great time. The only thing about Nashville is when a woman goes to Nashville, she immediately requires cowboy boots. So, like, I had to get cowboy boots for my daughter-in-law, had to get cowboy boots for my daughter, cowboy boots for my wife. Like, it's just part of their costume. So, yeah. But yeah, it was a great time. Next time you'll be there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm already trying to figure out how to make it to Vegas. So
I got the chaps. I got the full chaps. So
you already had those, Stu. We know. Oh man, awesome. So Jack, what's going on with ROO and the Invaders thing? Tell us a little bit about what's going on with these gold and silver invaders.
Okay, so for people who may not know, Stacks Invaders is a DMT collection on Stacks. It's the first of its kind. So the entire NFT lives on the blockchain. No other NFTs on Stacks share that distinction. So because they live on a blockchain, you can do things to them afterwards. So for instance, for the members of our community, before the conference, in honor of the conference, we offered to put laser eyes on people who would make their Stacks Invader their PFP. So, we didn't just like Photoshop laser eyes on a PFP. Like, on the blockchain, that NFT was changed. So this whole thing with DMT allows you to rethink things like rarity when it comes to NFTs. The way that you mint a DMT NFT makes you rethink what the minting process looks like in terms of distribution and fairness and so forth. So why not play with rarity? So we're going to probably next week. It looks like we'll be ready next week to launch. It's going to be a pretty small mint, actually. I'm very interested to see how this is going to go. But people will have a chance to mint an NFT, basically, that'll allow them to change their invader to gold or silver. Those are only going to be so many chances. We're gamifying it to try to limit this. So every time one's successfully minted, the cost of minting actually goes up because gold and silver in your NFT collection, you don't want too many of those anyway. You know, if one person does this and they have the only gold stacks invader, that's it. They've got the only gold stacks invader. And we really like that, not just because of the novelty of it, but we like this experiment with rarity. We have some more special editions coming out. People will really be able to customize their invader. And this will also allow for people who were early to have things for their invaders that people coming in later, they're simply not going to have that opportunity, right? Like once your gold and silver's out there, that's it. That's all you got. You know, once your special edition is out there, that's all you got. So it's just a way for people to enjoy their NFT more, a way to see how the market responds to all of these different factors that kind of change what we think about NFTs and see what they like about it. And it gives us a chance to stretch this a little bit further and see what else is actually what we can do with this new way of doing NFTs. So it's really cool. You know, we're having a good time.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. I missed the laser eye event. I was tied up and stuff, but it was really cool. And you know, I just like kind of like seeing what's going on and participating when I can and everything. And I love how you kind of work with your community and you grow the stuff and you just make everything kind of fun and engaging. And I love watching it.
Crypto's fun. It's supposed to be fun, right? I mean, it's just, that's part of it, you know, and so why not just run with that part of it? It's fun. It's yeah, you just got to love it, you know, and if you love it, you understand it.
Right. Well, it's how you want to get people engaged so that you're getting people to try out stuff that they otherwise wouldn't have even necessarily done. Like, I understand a lot more about the transactional process on stacks in general from the DMT mint, from the invaders, just because it forced me to kind of be like, just to look at how do I maybe get an edge with this? How can I do this? So it forced me to look at it from a different perspective, and a bunch of other people too. So it gets people more engaged, and things like this is going to help us. Same thing with Stu and his giveaway, his 100-day giveaway program plat thing. And now we got this life-changing, the raffle. That's, you know, bringing a lot of energy and a lot of eyeballs to the space on a regular basis. And that stuff is impactful. You know, it's paying off. I mean, we had that I can't remember the name of the company that posted the that poll yesterday, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and you know, we just kind of we have these spaces and all these community chat rooms and forums and stuff where we can get our message out to our communities very quickly, and they're very responsive to just getting some pop for stacks. People spent a lot of time going and voting and engaging in something that was just ego driven, just feeling good about it. Stu has a word.
You know, whenever you see that there, that just shows one word. Sorry, I've actually two or three words actually. Never stuck for one word. You know, it's that just shows you what we have, an organic community. It's not botted. You know, this is a real, true, organic community. Whenever you see that interaction get there, and that's the part that makes me smile. You know.
Yeah,
makes sense.
It's true. It's true. That's why I'm here, because the people we're engaging with are engaging back and open to talking. And there's also this kind of general vibe here where if you're willing to participate and you're an honest participant, the personalities might not always click, but nobody's out to get anybody. You know, nobody's out to screw over anybody. We're all trying to kind of participate and get involved in it. And it's a really cool thing. And I think I first saw this when Jack mentioned it on X, and I think it was around 30% stacks or so, 64 to 30 something for stacks, 32, something like that. And then and I think he mentioned that when he first posted it about it, it was at 12%.
Yeah.
And in a matter of a few hours, we took the Algorand community down from like 64% of the vote to becoming the clear majority out of 3. And it's just a testament to how responsive and engaged the community is. And actually, if we had seen it, the reason we didn't all see it earlier was because there were like a series of like 4 or 6 spaces over the span of like 3 hours when it first launched, but the whole community was involved in. So we didn't see this because we were all like, we're engaged in, and like what's going on in the Stacks community is something that I've never seen anywhere really, as far as the amount of people that are building and or engaging and or trying to participate however they can. It's really awesome. And I want to actually get to this because Michael and Stu, Stu I've known for a little while from the Welsh community, and I see him, but he's here today, and he said it a couple times now, that he never resists an opportunity to get on a mic. So I've heard him a lot. I'm a little newer, less acquainted with Michael, although we've talked a lot in the last few weeks. And but I first came across you on the spaces that you have going almost constantly for the Syndicate. What exactly is the Syndicate? Can you guys, I know Stu and Michael are both part of it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Michael, you know what? I do believe you, my good man, are the best person. I'll briefly say it as it is a conglomerate of mercenaries who have come together, who get stuff done really, really quickly and efficiently and effectively in record times, who can collaborate and just get things done amazing. Michael?
Hello, everyone. Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's up, man?
So the question was, what is the Syndicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, how
yeah.
are you? You good? How's things going?
I'm amazing. You know, Bitcoin Nashville just happened, and it's almost like the whole DeGrants process was perfectly timed, because we spent essentially 2 months building, and then we had this event, which is kind of like the coming out party. No Diddy. And so we got actual feedback. You're like, that's dude. This is why they don't have me on shows.
This is exactly why I want you on my show.
See, I'm trying to be professional, and it's so difficult. And so
we're redefining what that means.
Okay, yeah, good. Then I'm in the right place then. So
Indeed.
So Stu and a guy, Tales from Krypt, who I don't know much about them other than I've heard their voice, and I like their perspective and the way they frame things. And so we just started talking, and we were in a space with Stu, and the idea for dating came up with Staxi and the whole Welsh community. And little did I know, Stu and the entire Welsh community was huge. And so I didn't look down at the phone, but I didn't realize I was talking to as much as 2,700 people at the time. And so a joke of an idea to do dating on Bitcoin to prevent married people from pretending that they're single and engaging in emotional theft, Stu's phrase, right? We started making prototypes. I went from a website to a psychometric assessment that leveraged your voice and AI. And now we have something that's getting closer to being pushed out as an actual app. And Stu is a bit of a renegade because he said, you know what? Sometimes DeGrants takes a little long. If I put down $600, could we do this? And we're like, yeah, we can. And so that's how I got to know Stu, and we did some working sprints together. So the Digital Mercenaries descended on an assignment and an opportunity with Stu, and we went through a couple sprints, and he was able to demonstrate that in time for Bitcoin Nashville.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And actually, so I had jumped into one of your guys' spaces shortly before Nashville. I believe it was a Thursday space. It was actually, I think, right after my first episode of this 2 weeks ago. And in that space, we were talking about, we came up with an idea of doing like a 30 to 60 second pitch space. And we wrapped that up really quickly. And then by that following Saturday, we had, I think it was about 6 or 7 people that pitched a 30 to 60 second elevator pitch for you guys to kind of build some data to possibly bring the pitch down at Nashville. And I never really I went on vacation the next day. I was gone for a week. I've only been back for a couple of days, and you guys have been down in Nashville. So we haven't really had much time to chat about that. I know that there was another space, I think this past Sunday, that was another pitch space. Can you guys, so what was what was your guys' experience with that? I know that the project, can I say, is Cindy, you're calling, is the AI project. And Cindy's being used also for the dating app is called Bitcoin Bay. Can I say all this? Like, is this all, I don't want to step on toes. I figure that this is all out there, right? If I know about it, I'm not usually the first to know. So tell me about what happened with the pitch project, and tell me if there was, I know that the plan was to compile some of the data, use Cindy to put stuff together, and how was all that worked out? Give me a little bit of detail on that stuff.
Can I ask Stu a question first?
Yeah, yes, please.
Do we want to lie to him, or do we want to be honest?
Honest.
He's asking how the pitch competition went.
Yeah.
You go ahead. You're more diplomatic than I am.
Sorry, your signal's breaking out. Okay, listen. I'm just going to give one brief. Just out of that pitch, something actually good and positive did come out of it. There's one of the guys who was on there, Freddie, who actually came along and pitched. From that, Freddie and I have continued. I've actually put up a post for him to help grow Stacks Africa as well. Also supported very much generously with Jack as well, who's also sponsored ROO towards that there, so to help him grow his community, because I really do think, I got to speak to the gentleman then after that pitch, and that was something that was something very positive came out of that there. Now, on the other hand of the pitch, there were a few projects. I don't think they understood the concept personally. Right. What is that there? And that's just to be honest. Like, I mean, I'll tell you how it is. And I think, as it was a first, that's a positive thing. Why is that a positive thing? Because out of every experience, there's a positive outcome. There's a learning curve. So it's out of that there. Everybody who was on that pitch, they can take away and they're going, okay, how can I fine tune that there by the replies they actually got back from the people they were talking to? So I think it was a good thing. I just think people just need a bit more, they can relax more and maybe be more focused on fine tuning their pitch.
If I can jump in here, like, I remember when they were joking about the whole concept in the group chat, and then I ran into Stu, and he's like, "Dude, check this out." And it was so fast. Like, it's brilliant, and the other thing, like, me personally, I think it's really cool. I think it's a very cool concept, and I think it's got legs. I think that, and I don't know anything past any of this, but what's been discussed here today. For one, I think a lot of people, especially if you're talking about VCs, they're very just focused on this result. It's formulaic in a lot of cases. Like, is this the thing? Oh, so you've got to take that with a grain of salt. But, like, I'm sitting here and you're talking about this. This is not only just a cool app, but there's a whole multimedia experience that can be launched around it to help generate hype for it. And this is actually the kind of thing that gets people looking at Bitcoin, looking at stacks, looking at crypto that might not otherwise do it. You know, you're talking viral campaigns. There's something there.
But just as everybody knows, Jack, you're actually talking about Bitcoin Bay, the dating app, which we're talking about. So the app that I had showed Jack in one of our meetups was actually Bitcoin Bay, and it was explaining, you know, the whole concept about the, especially emotional theft, what's the word called, the catfish, anti-catfish, the analysis about, you know, personality analysis and all the rest. So yeah, it's not just about. So just to iterate on you, Jack, it's not just, as you said, this is not just a dating app. This is actually an onboarding procedure as well into Bitcoin.
Yeah, and you're talking about product market fit. You know, that's the favorite word of everybody. If you just sampled women who are the biggest consumers, by the way, of like everything, right? Like, I mean, that's a fact. And you ask them, hey, what are you most dissatisfied with? Like, online dating and dating in general is at the top of that list. And then we've already demonstrated that the people who are into Bitcoin, I mean, this was even said by President Trump in the speech, like the Bitcoin people are just good people. So, I mean, you're talking about a way to bring a whole new thing to market, attracting people who probably wouldn't use this kind of stuff in the first place, and it actually solves a problem. Like, well, all I'm thinking about right now is how do we tokenize this and crowdfund it, right? Like, that's where my head's at.
Well, you know, I think what do you call, maybe jump on one of the spaces. I know I've been a little bit absent as well, Michael. You know, I mean, as you know, like, I mean, just with enjoying America, and also back from Nashville, just catching up with everything, which has been fun. But yeah, definitely, what do you call, Jack? Come over to one of the spaces along with Michael. You'll definitely have. And yeah, a fun, you know, I mean, genuinely one of the most funnest spaces. You know, these are always the spaces that I've, thanks to Michael's, his spaces. I could easily adapt to the American time zone, but you know, that was one of the.
No,
so you guys had another pitch project on Sunday. How did that go? Did that go any better? Was there really kind of similar? Just a lot of people. It's more like an educational thing to help people get ready with their pitches at that point.
I'm trying to remember the Sunday. I joked around about Stu being honest because, you know, it takes all kinds, they say, and I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I've seen a lot of money get wasted, and so I operate a bit differently than a lot of other folks. So classically, the way that people build software is like a waterfall model where you talk to the client on day one and then you talk to them again in month 18, and hopefully the solution still works. And I found that I'm not a very good visionary because all my ideas die when they have first contact with the end user. And so almost neurotically, I've tried to, if I'm going to build stuff, I want to see it fail as soon as possible, because I've seen how much time and energy in life I've wasted on avoiding, right, negative feedback. And so I find sometimes, and you know, this is why we're doing the whole community co-pilot, is it used to be very difficult to make a product. But as Stu has experienced with the Bitcoin dating app, what do you need? Like 7 days to actually have something that's almost ready for the Google or Play Store? But that's where we are today. So the challenge isn't the product anymore. It's actually building of the brand. Because if you have no brand, you're a commodity and you're going to be wiped out by the cost of goods sold, right? So if you're going to have a business, I'm finding that the brand is just as important as the AI LLM. And so that's kind of, I see like a schism between these two worlds of product-led growth and brand market fit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what has me kind of standing back and asking myself, am I spending my energy right, given everything that is being invented in last 4 months, let alone last 12?
So is it really an issue of maybe there's just it's really hard to create products that are differentiated from what other products that other people can make that's competing with them?
You just take use your phone, take a picture of an app, paste it into an LLM. Oh, look, you have the app now. Like that's kind of where we are. So in a world where your product and service are the same as everyone else's, it's kind of only your sales process and your brand that differentiates you.
So
Because
what
the cost
makes,
of duplication is
what makes the
nothing.
brand stand out, though? What makes the brand stand out? The community? I mean, what makes a brand stand out?
Here's the challenging part. I know people that have been building brands for 10 years. Good luck competing with them on that market that has grown up with them. Does that make sense? That's not something you do easily overnight. And if you grow quickly, you can also be forgotten quickly. So I find that the people who have built brands are the people that I'm thinking about when working with Stacks and launching this economy on Stacks. I think about who are the Web 2 people that already are processing these types of transactions. And how might the people building the protocols and the tools partner with those who already have an established brand, market, network presence through their community? That's, I guess, how I'm looking at it right now.
How do we bring the established brands here?
Mm-hmm.
That process needs pioneers, because what you see with a lot of Web 2 things that come here, I like to tell this story because it's friggin' hilarious. It was on the end of the NFT hype cycle, and I can't remember where it was, but in America, Oscar Mayer is like this big hot dog company, right? Like the biggest one, and they were promoting Oscar Mayer NFTs at this event, right? Like that was their thing. Like they knew NFTs were hot, but like, do you get the NFT? Do you get like free hot dogs? Like, what's the point of the, and it's silly, but it's a very clear demonstration of the disconnect, because somewhere in where they're missing is, and I think it ultimately goes to decentralization, but what they're missing is that community element. Like, no, people like NFTs because there's this, to use the word, cult of personality that goes into it. Like when you're in the trenches with all of these people and you're succeeding together, that's a completely different thing. Like you don't pick that kind of user off with a hot dog NFT, right? Nobody cares about that. And then the Web 2 people, the normal people, the NoCoiner people, they're not there. So like you need the pioneers, and exactly what Michael's saying right there. That's where you need them. You need people who can take Web 2 things, and people, because I ran into some of these people at Nashville myself, right? And it's easy for us. We all have various different levels of experience in this space. And it's easy to forget that most people aren't there. Most people aren't even close to there. You can talk over someone's head and while thinking you're trying. That's the thing on Stuart Spaces. It's always like, look, just make sure we just talk at people's level. Let's just assume people are here, right? And that's that much more profound in business, especially with people who've been successful in other endeavors. There's no talent pool that you can just pick from outside of the crypto space. Now, inside the crypto space, there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of opportunity there to do just this, what we're talking about, which is teaching people how to operate, whether it's just as an investment vehicle, whether it's just a way to explore this new technology, or whether it's a way to build businesses. There needs to be an onboarding, and there needs to be an easy process by which they're onboarded. Because people waste a lot of money. You just said a little while ago, you see people waste money on absolute garbage all the time.
Yeah, great point. I mean, points. I mean, it is. There is definitely an opportunity for people with the capacity to kind of bridge between the Web3 space and what's being built places on Bitcoin, meta protocols, and on Stacks, layer 2s and whatnot, and even in the other chains, and with what's going on with the successful businesses that are established now outside of the crypto space and integrating them in, because they're going to need it too. They're going to need to be here too. Or I guess, do they need to be here? And how do we make it so that they need to be here? I guess maybe that's really the question. Stu.
Yeah, you just mentioned with projects, new projects coming on the line, and let's just flick back to where we were with DeGrants, etc. And with the possibility of had this great opportunity to be in this space along with Michael and the Syndicate, and I've been very graciously welcomed into this community of amazing mindsets, and I think what he calls, if maybe the future projects coming into these new projects launching on stacks, whatever, if they maybe actually done some sort of interview or used Michael Cindy, it would actually speed up the process and actually make their projects probably more efficient. And so for me, we have a blueprint, a template, a white paper, whatever you want to call it, which is sitting in front of these people who want to come into stacks with new projects. I would wholeheartedly say, listen, go over to the Syndicate, see how they can help you. They'll run through AI, they see how you can actually, save your time. This is your most precious commodity. So with that there, because why do I say all that there? Because I have seen firsthand how efficient a group of guys can be on a limited budget, and actually develop and bring a product to life that actually can be functional. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would suggest, for new projects coming across, and especially for guys who are in stacks who want to actually build on there. So that's my part to that there. Maybe Michael, if you could add something onto that there, how would you agree to something like that there? Would that be something you would say yes, Stuart, that's correct, or would you say no? What's your opinion?
I used to not be honest with people because I thought it was nice. And I find by lying to them, I am not being a good person. And I find that I lose friends by being honest with people, but that also leads me to more close conversations and relationships. So the only caveat is I get the right to say, get the fuck out of here. Does that make sense? I reserve the right to say, get the fuck out of here. Not to say I'm right, but I reserve that right.
But you know what, Michael, and I think in that there sense, and yet again, I'll come back to my my one and only sentence in that there. Time is a precious commodity. Do not waste your time trying to build shit that is actually of no use. And I think things like what you guys have done, with Rocky and with Vance and Krypt and Paul and all the rest, who are very experimental, or very experienced guys, should I say, not experimental, they're very experienced guys in developing systems and products and all the rest. So I think this would be a good first step to going forward to help grow a good projects within stacks.
Awesome. So you're talking about creating basically a template, or even like maybe a front piece for collecting data and or making sure that they have the proper stuff in place, or what they need to have in place to get help transitioning to Web3, and that can be presented to the mercenaries. So like an organized, but maybe just even a place for them, for people to be directed to that are looking. No,
I found it's a specific thing of what you're saying. So the core is, should I build or should I buy? Classic decision, right? That we do make all the time. Should I build a car or should I just go grab the Tesla? There's a lot of people who are mechanics that decide every day to have someone else build the car, right? And so sometimes I would see projects that are like, hey, we want to do e-commerce with stacks. Okay, that sounds like Shopify and a smart contract. I'm not sure if you want to build out SAP from scratch or JD Edwards, you know what I mean? Or Oracle business applications, because that's what you're really talking about if you want to build an e-commerce from scratch. And I'm saying, if Shopify's $1 a month, right, I'm not sure why you can't make your first sale today, right? And I would rather you pitch for additional funding because you've made $100 and funding would help you to get to the first 1,000. You know what I mean? Or do some sort of market sentiment to say, yes, this is a demand. But again, it's just one of those things where I've seen a lot of money spent on projects that are essentially solutions looking for a problem. Is that a phrase you guys have heard before? Building solutions looking for a problem? Has that ever happened in your life? It's hard to reverse engineer the revenue when the product has already been crystallized. You know what I mean?
Right. We don't need to build another Shopify.
Another Death Star.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna build the Death Star now. How much do we need? Well, if we just go on GitHub, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually was just notified that Krypt is here. Tales from Krypt. He's just not. He's having some problems with his video, but he's here. I don't know if we can hear him or if he can say hi. Krypt, are you there?
Good day. How are we?
Hey, how are you?
Hello, how are we?
Good day. How are we?
Hey, Krypt.
Oh shit, Haddy's still here?
I've been here the whole time.
What the hell?
Out of sight, out of mind, man. Haddy, do you have anything to add or any questions?
Come on, Haddy.
I've got loads of questions and something to add to follow on from what Stu said, Jack, and both Michael, relating to people coming on board. I think the question I had was, Michael, are you steering towards minimum viable audience? So when we go from MVP, do we go to like minimum viable audience? And Stacks provides the best opportunity for that, I think, having a minimum viable audience, because people are so motivated and passionate about getting involved. So that was my question, really, was moving into looking at minimum viable audience, especially talking about your dating app, Tinder for Stacks. That's kind of, you need a minimum viable audience. And if you gear it towards that, that's where you make your biggest leap. And when you talk about your branding and getting your branding right, when you go very specific to a very specific audience, and you only need, I assume for you guys, you're probably only going to need, 250 people to start with to cover your costs, 300 people or less, maybe 100 people.
Sometimes
that was really what I was looking at.
Yeah, I would say there's this book called Sprint by Jake Knapp. He worked at Google Ventures, and they built things like Blue Bottle Coffee, which sold for $1 billion, selling coffee bags, and actually the interface for Airbnb, whether you like that one or not. But what they did is their goal was to develop a system that ended the endless debate cycles that would delay projects. And so they created a 5-day project that led to a usable and useful prototype that you could test with your end users. Now, the trick is no prototype survives first contact with the end user. And so that first test of really just 5 people, they said 5 people is enough to tell you the glaring things wrong with your prototype. And so for me, I've tried to, in the spaces, collapse 5 days into sometimes an hour and say, what is it that you want? Okay, you want to sell online. All right, let me go onto Shopify. Here you go. Here's your site. Now what are we doing? Because it's $1 to start selling. You know what I mean? Just like really quick things to just move things forward. Take it, test it with your end users. They're going to say it's broken for reasons that nobody ever have foreseen. And now we're actually building product. But we're doing it with this user acceptance testing group that's already pre-identified before the sprint ever begins.
Yeah, that's upfront. I was talking about backend once you've launched. But yeah, eliminating those roadblocks upfront is legendary. It speeds up the process from having, like you said, an endless debate cycle. You're not debating things. You're actually talking to the user. The user gives you instant feedback. You instantly change and you instantly move forward again. And that roadblock is removed. And you keep removing roadblocks at speed.
The only challenge is to do this type of work this way, you have to be very definite on the target market segment that you're going after.
Correct. And that's minimum viable audience. That's your minimum viable audience. You know what you need to cover cost, plus you know who you're targeting very specifically, because that's your base audience.
The only challenge is a founder will tell you, my product is for everyone. Have you ever heard that? My
Always.
product is for everyone. It solves everyone's problem. And so the founder's challenge is in breaking down which part of the market do I want to serve first. That's always kind of an emotional battle, I find, with founders, because they're so excited about solving the world's problems. They can't find the first person.
%100%.
What's that for? What's the C for?
It is the half of a heart.
Half of a heart. One
Yeah,
hand is
no.
holding the phone, the other one's making a heart.
Listen, yeah, I listen to them. I'm talented, but no, but yeah.
Stu's
but
being so, did you learn diplomacy when you came to America there, Stu? Stu usually is a lot more outspoken.
Man, I'm on camera, man. I'm ridiculous. And I'm actually feeling really
So
awkward.
I have to be
I'm
the
feeling-
unprofessional one for the both of us?
No,
Is that how
I'm
this
feeling
works?
I'm feeling really awkward today because I've shaved and I feel it just feels really awkward on camera. No beard whatsoever, so it's I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Jack,
that's right.
could
We all
you
have facial
listen?
hair.
Could you imagine Jack coming on here without a beard? You'd be like,
No,
Jesus Christ, he's a fucking
You-
teenager.
You
He's
still
a
got
teenager.
some of this. You got to frame your face somehow. It just doesn't work.
Man, the problem is my face starts here and it ends up here. You know what I mean? So,
Oh my God.
but yeah,
Look how
listen,
much
you know,
brains you have.
Yeah,
Jeez, genius.
But you know, but this is exactly this. Listen, and coming back to what Haddy said, like I mean, you know, we're just creating this audience that we are creating a product for, you know, for the correct audience. And you said as well, Michael, every product does not solve everybody's problems. You know, there's no one-stop shop product for any that I've ever seen. Like I mean, it's you know, as much as I would love to say, you know, Welsh solves every problem. I mean, no, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Does ROO solve every problem? No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's as much as all and any other product out there. And this is one of the conversations we had. You know, what is the audience? And I remember this conversation so clearly. What is the audience we want to go for? Because in doing that, everything changes. Every single thing changes. The color scheme, the wording, everything, the pricing of everything. You know, So yeah, all that there. It's what I'm pleased to have personally as well. Out of everything, you know, I'm in collaboration now with a group of very, very incredibly professional people who just get things done efficiently. You know.
Oh, let me know about them when you meet. I'd love to meet them.
Yeah, they're great. So, you know, it's you should come along to the Syndicate sometimes. But in
okay.
but and I just before I do pause here, what I do suggest that there should be more people who are in the stacks, new to stacks, who are maybe old OGs within stacks, should actually take advantage of this this potential, you know, of this group of guys who can and girls who can really do things and maybe help help your project become a success. You know.
Yeah, this is what's so cool. Just getting right back to it. You know, for the same reason we were able to win that poll, the same reason we're sitting here excited today. I've never ever seen this ecosystem with the energy around it. It's so much so. The biggest thing that Bitcoin Ordinals did for us all was make the case that you needed L2s, make the case that you need something like stacks to scale. So now everyone's on this L2 thing, right? So many L2s being built. Guess what? Is a very, very, very small percentage of the market right now. Even stacks relative to other tokens is a smaller market cap. I think we're at like number 25, 27 out of 100, right? When I got here, we were in the 70s. It's like it's growing. But now this whole space, so there's so much opportunity right now that you really need to find the right people to work with, to Stu's point, because right now you can move the needle in a way that has never been done before. I mean, we're talking about, you know, all of us here, unless you're brand new to the space, you probably got into crypto when people were like, that stuff ain't going to make it. We're so far past that. You know, this is now a part of a platform for the President of the United States of America. Like this is a national, soon to be international issue. This is here to stay, right? So, and you're on the bleeding edge of it. So yeah, you really do need to find your people. You need to find what you want to do, who to collaborate with, who to build with, because it's a wide open space. And to Michael's point, no, not everything from Web 2 needs to be done on a blockchain. Like there's no reason for that, right? But there's a lot of stuff that a blockchain can do that Web 2 can't, especially in this world where we're even now, you can't be sure that you're not talking to an AI when you're on the computer, right? Even now. So when you talk about an ultimate way to authenticate something, start thinking on those lines. You know, we're at the hard money, we're at the DeFi level, we're at the you know, verify, don't trust, all of these things, but it builds just like anything else. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity there because AI is going to change everything. Robotics is going to change everything. What does the blockchain solve there? Forget about, you know, Shopify, they're good. Amazon, they're good. They're not going anywhere. Like, you know, no one in the 1970s was talking about overtaking Sears Roebuck as like the big department store in the United States, right? That wasn't the time for that, right? And look how long that run was. Nobody's going to do that stuff better here, but there's stuff that we can do here that can't be done anywhere else. And with that mindset, this is how you go and pave a way.
It's exactly right. It's exactly
I agree.
right.
Can I interject and just ask that Crypto Bear Baker asked about the reality show. So Stu and Michael, can you elaborate on, is there going to be a reality show?
Stu, are they ready
You know
for it?
what,
I don't know how much we're allowed to say. You're the producer, right? It's the people from Europe that produce TV shows, so you have to put on the director's voice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, hi. Welcome to Bitcoin Bay. You know, listen, you know what? Let's get one step at a time. Let's get, you know, within record timing, you know, within the 2 weeks' time that we put everything together, we've created this here. You know, who knows? You know, I mean, who knows what can happen? One thing I've learned in this space very quickly: don't set your limitations too low. That's the one thing. But the one thing I am going to say, you know, there's one word out of this whole space, this whole call that I've come across here, and it just keeps on popping into my mind, is being you know, efficient. Efficiency. The efficiency through collaborations, the efficiency through the blockchain, efficiency through everything we're developing, efficiency through Michael's Syndicate and Cindy. Because yet again, and here's a very simple question for you, Haddy. And I know, and I'm sure you're going to give a big number in this here because you're one of the guys I have so much respect for in the amount of hours that you put into for the DeGrants. Like, how many hours did you put in from the start of the DeGrants to the end of the DeGrants? I'm sure your hours have clocked up immensely. You know, and in that there, and if we can use things that we have today, this technology we have, and the connections we have, just to be more efficient, to save time. That's our precious one. So efficiency is for me. That's what I might take away from today is.
100%. We could use tools. We could create tools and have better tools. And I think if we specifically talk about DeGrants and the hours, is hundreds of hours, but it's about building the foundations to make sure that we can build something for the community, because DeGrants is about community. So the time you put in, I mean, Jack himself has put in a lot of time into the community before I arrived. Yeah. Stu, you've put in loads of time before I arrived. Michael arrived around the same time as me, and Michael's put loads of hours into community and building out stacks and making it building upon the people and we stand upon the shoulders of the people that came before us. And it's the same as PeaceLove was here before I was. So I think we put everything in to build the building blocks, but yes, you're 100%. We need to build the tools to make things more efficient, to make it easier for people to onboard and easier for people to, as Jack put it, NoCoiners, to come in and understand how Bitcoin and the layer 2 stacks can help them. I think this is vitally important that we build those tools. And thank you to the two of you for starting to build those tools and making it fun.
Well, hold on. You're being like humble and leaving things out by omission. You were there with Rocky on a phone call for 2 hours, designing out the version 0 of the Cindy chatbot. I'm not sure if you've told anyone that yet, but you're in the background Mr. Most Important Nobody on the planet, not even on camera, but responsible for a lot of this stuff. So you're being really humble. But we decided together, me, you, and Rocky, to say, what do we want to do? Build reputation and revenue through delivering usable and useful prototypes. And we started with the exponential organization questionnaire, realizing that there are going to be teams of 8 to 12 people that build billion-dollar companies more often now than ever before, because the barrier to entry to use this technology has been dropped. And so you were there at the beginning. We just got so busy that we haven't really talked. So don't let his humility fool you. That guy is a key part. Nothing that I did would have happened without Haddy being there in the beginning. 100%. This is not just like some commercial talk. 100%.
Oh, thank you. You're making me blush.
But sorry. If I can just say one thing as well, just before we go, and then I'll shut up. He's probably thinking, "I wish you just."
I don't believe that.
No, don't. That's a lie. It's but the one thing we do have in this space is so many humble people. There's never one person will go. The proper guys who are doing the real proper stuff, like in building proper projects. You'll never hear them, "Oh, look at me, look how amazing I am. I'm now doing something so amazing." You're always going, they're the most humblest guys. Jack, you're the most humblest guy I know. Michael, you as well. PeaceLove. Jesus Christ, I've never heard you shout. Haddy as well. They're just prime example there now with Haddy. Bit by bit, my man beside me here is called. Never do I hear this gentleman go, "Oh, look at me, what I'm doing." It's like, look what the community are doing. So it's that's just another thing as well. Makes me proud to be here, guys.
100%.
Yeah, that's it's actually amazing what's going on in the space right now. It's unprecedented. I haven't found a community that's doing this. And maybe I just missed it. I don't know. But I mean, there's an awful lot of talent and an awful, like I said earlier, the vibe, like it's like we're all, I don't want to say we don't have egos, because I think a lot of us understand that we're intelligent guys and we bring some value, and we do have, we are confident in what we bring to the table. That's why we're here, because we have something and we know it. But we also are wise enough to know that nothing that any of us has individually is in a vacuum worth anything. It takes the interaction of I can't build out all my ideas by myself. Jack can't build out all his ideas by himself. Stu can't talk about stuff if there's nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be, it takes all of us. And so it is the fundamental thing about what's going on and what I experienced with DeGrants and why I started this whole media thing that I'm working on is because it's a way to build community and interconnect all of the stuff that's going on and keep that going and provide some coverage and support and keep it all going. I know I want to be respectful of Bitcoin Live's time. So we're getting close to the end. I'm going to give everyone a chance to give a final word. I do want to say hello to some of the people in the chat. Giga Pepe, he's my boy. I love the dude. And he comes out and supports all of us anytime he can. And he's such a tremendous guy in the space. Tripping Monkeys in here saying some hilarious stuff, making me laugh while I'm trying to pay attention to you guys. Taking shots at Stu a little bit. It's hilarious. I have to go read that. And I also want to thank I see Paul Frederick and Rocky are both in the chat, and those guys are both doing a lot of stuff with the Syndicate, and there's some awesome stuff being developed, both of them. And I want to get them on a podcast and or in my spaces very soon and get a little bit more conversation and more. I need to actually get a little bit more acquainted with what they're doing, because there's some awesome stuff. And, that's actually the problem in the space myself that I'm coming across is it's a bandwidth issue. it's almost impossible to keep up with everything. And so like tools like Cindy will actually help us with that kind of stuff too. So it's really really awesome. And I'm going to just go around thank you guys all. Haddy, thank you so much. Krypt, I don't know if you're still here. Do you have anything you want to add? We have a few minutes. We can go.
Oh man, a lot has already been said. You guys just invited me for diversity. It's cool. Just the black screen, the note. I'm okay with being back here, you know. No, I'm joking, but you know, in all seriousness, though, I love everything that has been talked about. There's been a lot of valid points that have been shared, and a lot of alpha that has been dropped to give inspiration for more creation. I feel like as we step into this industry, I feel crypto has not had that Apple moment, right? And what I mean by that is not, Apple integrating crypto or something. No, I mean a product that sort of shatters the framework and has everyone lining up. Not to say that has to happen physically, but in a viral sense.
Are you talking about the Garden of Eden apple? Jack, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. You're talking about blockchain as the apple of life? Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Did you hear that?
Who's going there? I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on, honestly. But yeah. But in all seriousness, though, there's only a certain amount of people that are using the Web3 apps. And there's only a certain amount of people that are using Web2 apps, like still within that. So there has to be this interoperable layer that allows Web2 and Web3 businesses to sort of cooperate and provide products that are appealing to communities amongst various scales. People always wonder, why isn't this organization or dev building this and this? And honestly, the devs are doing a lot of what they can. It takes the people, the like-minded individuals who have these skills, who recognize the areas that they lack in, that are able to assemble teams that create products that solve a lot of the issues or target markets that have not been tapped into. There's a ridiculous amount of liquidity in the world, and it's just waiting for the blood clots to be poured into the correct places, I should say.
Awesome. I concur with all that sentiment, man. And I we'll have to get you on again soon, and maybe you can. You don't have. So I'm not even sure what happened with Haddy, because last time there was an icon, and I guess that wouldn't stay up. So I'm not sure if it's a numbers thing with how many people are on the panel or what. We'll get that stuff straightened out. But I really do appreciate you showing up, man. And it's hard to keep track of everybody. And I think
it's done by cast. It looks at their cast. No.
What?
It's by cast. There's comments, right?
Here for diversity.
You understand. Social credit system. It's 5,000 years old.
Okay, got it. I'm working my way up here. What's happening is I'm being groomed by a track funding Michael, and I'm working my way up here, you know. When Stuart gives me the thumbs up is when I know I've made it.
It's a process of unlearning for Krypt, you understand.
Oh, he and I have had a few really interesting conversations in the DMs. He's an awesome dude. All of you guys are. That's why I don't have anybody but excellent people come on involved in my stuff. And you guys are all excellent people. You're all building some really awesome stuff. Jack, I don't want to forget to mention, because we are really close to going over, and I don't want to go too far, but we're having a 4 o'clock spaces in the ROO Console. Are we continuing that at 4 o'clock? We're going to come in and chat a little bit more about some stuff going on there. And you know what? We'll go around the room. Everyone get a last word in. Jack, go ahead. Give us some info.
Well, first, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. This is really cool. Anytime you get to talk with some of these legends in the space and talk about things that you can't talk about anywhere else, and have a good time doing it. So thank you for that. Yeah, we'll hit the console at like 4. We'll chat a little bit. We'll drop some alpha. It's a pretty nice venue for stuff like that. And otherwise, yeah, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the Bitcoin Bay app at Vegas at the next conference. Just picture it, man. Just picture it. I could just see it all now. So that would be amazing. This has been a lot of fun, guys. Thank you. And yeah, we'll do this again soon.
Thank you, Jack, for making the time, because I know all of you guys, because I know you guys are very busy, but I know it's hard to get in the middle of a day on a weekday and all that stuff. And but that's when everyone seems to be available. Stu, give us a last word, man.
Yeah, listen, man, again, always thank you for inviting me on to these spaces. I really appreciate it. You bring me up along with these, genuinely these most very intellectual, intelligent guys who are really doing dope stuff. It's always a pleasure to get to speak to them. So I want to say thank you to you. And yeah, listen, guys, don't really much more to finish off with. Otherwise, you're going to go really over time. And but I just want to say thank you, man. Thanks for bringing me on here.
Thank you so much for making the time. I know you say you love a chance to get the mic, and yeah, sure, we all do kind of, but you bring a tremendous amount of value. You bring a great perspective, and don't sell yourself short on that, because there's a reason why you get so many opportunities on the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Before I go to Michael, I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I just want to read what Paul had posted in the chat here. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts in every moment of decision. The best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Keep going, keep growing. Those are words to live by right there. And I wanted to make sure we got that in there. And Michael, thank you again. I know this is also, again, everyone's got time constraints, and you guys have all been very gracious coming on here and supporting me. You guys are here supporting me, and I appreciate that, and I understand that, and I know that. And I really hope I can pay you guys back. Michael, give us a final word, please.
You never want to seem pretentious when you're reading quotes, you know what I mean? But I heard a guy say that innovation is grown from outside of the industry, innovation comes from outside the industry, but is grown from within the industry, if that makes sense. So I feel like everything we're working on, Stacks, Wealth, Bitcoin, blah, 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 maybe even Solana, there's a world where Solana exists too. But there's a huge role for integrators, right? To make sure that Oscar Mayer wieners of the future don't fall on their face, right? And don't get me wrong, pioneers have arrows in their back, or toothpicks in their VLT in this case, right? But the idea, sorry. And so the idea is there is a sea of people already making fiat money that are curious about making this new internet money, no South Park. And so there's a huge role for integrators who can speak both languages. So even if you're not a part of any of this stuff, if you have the mind of an integrator, there are a lot of people making fiat that may one day be making crypto too. And they're curious about being onboarded. And if you can speak their language and facilitate between these two groups for which exists a communication schism, I think there's a huge role for you to play, even if you don't even own a lick of Bitcoin right now. I'll throw that out there.
I agree. There's a tremendous opportunity and that's really what it is. It's the decentralized world. Like you mentioned Solana, and that's not my preference chain, but of course I have a little bit of exposure to Solana because it's doing stuff in the space that I'm in and I'm interested in. So of course you got to pay attention. They might win some share. They're probably going to win a big share. So you can't ignore them. In fact, you can get innovation from them outside of your space. That's a great way to look at it. this has been awesome. I could go on and on, but I know we really can't and we shouldn't. So I'm going to let Nick go. This is Deorganized. Spaces on Twitter every Wednesday at noon Eastern. And right now, every other week, we're going to do these podcasts with some more excellent people. I don't know how I can top this one, but we're going to try. Thank you guys all so much for coming. I really appreciate you. And Nick, take us out.
Thanks, everyone.